Wonder if any crazy news will happen this weekend? Odds are high. By the way, tomorrow is National Ice Cream Day, so thought you should know, maybe that'll help. You're listening to the Arbitrage Trade Weekend News. I'm your host, Darin Harper, bringing you 3 things you need to know for this weekend and an interview, the economic impacts of hosting the Olympics. Also, check out our winner and loser this week in the market. The 10-year is up to 4.24, and the 10-2 split is down further, 27.13. WTI crude dips way down to $78.75. Here's 3 things. Cybersecurity company Crowdstrike sent out a bad update, and chaos around the globe ensued. From airlines being delayed, media outlet interruptions, small and large business internet problems, and even border crossings being delayed, this problem, that might be a good thing, this problem shows how truly close to a very big world problem we have if the grid is knocked offline. Maybe this was a planned test to see what would happen. Elliott Management, known for its activist stakes in companies, has a new target. It's Starbucks. Reports are saying that Elliott has taken a large position in the coffee company. After the announcement, the stock was up to almost 7% gain, which makes you wonder if it is all a game just to grab that gain simply by announcing it. Be careful from here if you jumped in. Here are the bigs for next week. Like I said, Sunday is National Ice Cream Day. Monday is National Be a Good Teammate Day. Tuesday is Existing Home Sales in the U.S. Wednesday is International Self-Care Day. And also the Bank of Canada has its interest rate decision, U.S. new home sales report, and the crude oil inventories for the U.S. Thursday is National Wine and Cheese Day. There's also durable goods orders, U.S. GDP, and initial jobless claims. Thursday will be the day for the big reports. Friday is National Disability Independence Day, and it's also the U.S. Core PCE released. Then finish off your week next Saturday with National Love is Kind Day. Trade while you're sleeping across time zones with Arbitrage Trade Assist. Sign up today at arbitragetrade.com. Arbitrage Trade is your trusted source for business, finance, and tech info.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school.
Jessica has been through a lot in her life from early childhood.
My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She came in looking to complete her diploma. She had a family she had to take care of. Anytime she needed help, we provided her help. She realized that we were here for her.
She wants to have a career so her kids could look up to her.
My graduation, it was something I will never forget. I couldn't explain the emotion I was feeling because people like you and me sometimes may have doubts in yourself, but I feel that everything's possible.
Jessica's future is brighter than ever.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hi, Caroline.
Hello, Darin.
I didn't hear any music coming in or parades or different countries walking in or anything like that.
Don't have my flag.
That's right, your flag with the. They always want to do what? Ralph Lauren walk in?
Yeah, I think that's
who does it.
Yes, who does their outfits.
The outfits they have like a. I guess they have a great deal with them. I guess.
Yes, they do. They've been doing it for years.
Yeah, whoever that salesman is great. What we're talking about, by the way, is the Olympics.
Yes.
And the blog you did this week was the economic impacts of hosting the Olympics. So we're talking about money.
Money.
Which we talk about a lot around here. So
yes.
So and it's going to start next week, right? Is it next weekend?
End of next week. Yes.
Okay. And it is in Paris?
Paris, France.
Paris. I hope they clean up the streets.
They've been working on it, and the Seine, the river for some of the swim events. Yes, they really have been.
Like California does before they have big visitors. They clean it up, and then after it's gone, it's like, oh, well.
Well,
we're done. So it goes a couple of weeks, 3 weeks through August 11th, you said?
Yes.
I think you brought some numbers, lots of numbers this time. So,
I love the numbers.
Yeah, but even it seemed like more so this time. So I guess when you're talking about money, you should bring the numbers.
Yes.
So tell us about when the first Olympics were compared to what it is now, all that good stuff. So the floor is yours.
Oh, well, thank you.
The what do they call the gymnastics floor?
The women have the floor exercise.
Okay, so this is your floor exercise.
Okay.
Go for it. No music in the background. Sorry.
Dang it. Can you add that in post? So the Summer Olympics, the first modern Olympics were in 1896, and they had about 280 athletes from 12 different countries. So if you think about it, that's still a good bit for that long ago, 1896. But this Olympics in Paris, they're expecting to host over 10,000 athletes from more than 200 countries.
Wow.
And they will compete in about 300 total events.
Yeah, some of those events are just like crazy, but
yeah, but things like the 100-meter freestyle and the 200,
right, those
that's
are count
two
as
separate
two.
events.
Yeah. It's not as crazy X Games.
Right. Yeah,
They save all that for them, I guess.
oh, just wait till next week's blog when I tell you about some of the new events that will be in this year's Olympics.
Yes, I can't
That's coming
wait.
up next week. But back to the numbers.
Teaser.
Back to the number.
Okay.
I got to plug when you can, right? So according to the Associated Press, Paris has spent at least $9.6 billion, that's with a B, billion dollars on Olympic expenses.
Okay.
And about a third of that is estimated to come from the French taxpayers.
There it goes.
Yes, yes. I say quote unquote only a third. And cities take on these costs because they hope in building these railroads and upgraded roads and airports and hotels and all these things that those will stay around and
Right.
benefit the city long term. So that's
Yep.
how they can justify some of the taxpayer cost. But is it really worth it?
Well, we have some past to
Yes.
say whether or not that is true or not.
Exactly. So, the big one that really stands out in people's minds is the 1976 Montreal Olympics. And their projected cost was so far below what they had initially estimated. And they ended up having $1.5 billion in debt. Remember, that was in 1976.
Yeah. What's
So-
that? What's nowadays? I wonder.
I don't know nowadays.
Just lots of billions. That's all. We
Yes, lots of billions. And it took the city and the taxpayers 30 years to pay that off.
know.
So, they're saddled
They
with that.
probably haven't really paid it off. It just gets
That was
pushed forward.
2006. Well,
Right.
and, as we talked about the cost of the building the infrastructure to help
Mm-hmm.
host all this, a lot of the sports require very specialized places and arenas and things. And so sometimes you build something and then it can't really be reused.
Yeah.
And so these buildings, I thought this was an interesting term. They're called white elephants.
I saw that.
Yeah, I've
never heard it used
I'd
for
not
that.
heard them called that. No. So, these expensive facilities, they're huge. They can't be reused very much. So, Beijing, I remember watching some of the Beijing Olympics. They had the Bird's Nest Stadium that I thought looked really cool. It kind of had like the crisscross stuff going around the top.
Right.
So it looked super cool. They used it for the opening and closing ceremonies and some things like that. Well, that cost $460 million just to build it.
Right.
And then it requires, even today, $10 million a year to maintain.
Mm.
And it's hardly been used since the 2008 games in Beijing. So they're paying $10 million a year to maintain this building that looks great that's hardly ever used.
Well, they have another problem there right now. So
Yes.
So they're dealing with lots of buildings that may never be reused.
Yes.
Or used at all. Yes.
And so, that can be a problem as well. An Oxford economist said that every Olympics since 1960 has run over budget and on average 172% over budget.
You don't say.
So we're not talking just a little bit over budget.
Are you sure the Congress isn't doing these?
Well, I mean,
Doing these budgets?
LA's hosting the next Summer Olympics,
Well,
so
there we
maybe.
go. Yeah.
LA's
Directly
coming
or
up.
indirectly. Here we go, taxpayers. More to pay for. Yay.
Right. So, it definitely costs a lot of money. The bidding process with the IOC and trying to, woo the people who make these decisions and, look what we're going to do for you and for the Olympics. And so
Those backroom deals.
Yes.
Who's going to get what? Who's going to build what?
Yes.
I got a buddy who's in construction, so let's make sure we loop him in. And
Or, I promise
for life.
we'll set y'all up in this great hotel room.
Right,
and,
right.
that
And then
kind of thing.
California needs all the American taxpayers' not daughters,
No.
dollars, because of how their budgets are blown every year,
Well-
California. So now this will be a way to get the American taxpayers to help pay again for California.
Well, I'm hoping. I'm trying to be optimistic because
Okay.
because LA has hosted the Olympics before,
Yes.
and so I'm hoping that they will be able to
do
maybe
a profit.
upgrade and reuse maybe some
yeah,
of what's
that's
been
true.
done before.
That's kind of what they're looking at now. And
Yes.
so I think you said that. So there's going to eventually be just like only so many cities in the world that will host Olympics, I guess.
Right, because fewer and fewer cities are bidding for it because
they don't want it. Yeah,
it
they
has
don't want
been so expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wish the Congress would think that way.
There's only so much we can do.
That's right.
So much we can do.
So, I mean, I just don't watch them as much. I know you like. There's several things you said you like to watch.
And I like to watch with my son too. He finds the gymnastics and the diving, especially. He's 9,
right?
And so he finds some of those type sports. When he was younger with the diving, every time they landed, he would go, "Ooh, that was a good splash!"
Right. Well, maybe this year with the whole. I think I'm seeing an increase in patriotism in the U.S. Maybe that will lead to people watching it more, and which will give more money.
Right.
Because the TV rights is a big one.
TV rights is the biggest profit maker. Not that they end up with an overall profit, but that is the biggest, I guess, revenue that the Olympics brings in is from the TV rights.
Right. Do you know who's doing it this year?
NBC.
It is NBC, of course. Okay.
Yes, they've doing it for a while.
Yeah, they must have a contract out to so long.
But they've been talking about it for a while, like on the Today Show and stuff. And Snoop Dogg is going to be part of the Olympics broadcast team now. If you have not seen during some of the Olympic trials, that was kind of fun. In a serious
manner, or in his little fun things he does on the internet?
No, like he was there, like wearing official garb and like talking to parents in the stands. And hey, let me tell you about the steeplechase. Here's how it works. He was being funny, but he was like actually giving information.
Some of our listeners have probably heard his nature videos that he does, which are hilarious. So I guess he might be more serious this time. I don't know.
Maybe.
He certainly doesn't. I don't think of an athlete when I think of him.
No. Well, and I mean, it was kind of funny because, the steeplechase is an interesting race. And so, he was kind of doing it in a funny way, but actually gave information. Here's how far they run. Then they jump over this hurdle and, man, they splashing in that puddle. And,
I guess he was clear-headed that day.
Maybe. But you were also talking about the TV rights and something like that too. It seems like, at least from our American perspective, when it's hosted in another country, like in France, with the time difference, we'll get a lot of things on a time delay.
Right.
So that it'll, be airing in prime time, even though it happened earlier.
So it's an expensive event. It's the way countries like to showcase what they have to the rest of the world.
Yes.
But probably the most important thing for me, and it always has been, because I ran track and cross country in high school, is the just showing off your sport, I guess, and then the competition between the countries now. So, keep politics out of it, please. Well, keep social issues out of it, please. Make it just a athletic event like it originally was back in Athens a long time ago.
Yes, and it really seems like, and something that I'll mention next week, back in the day, like back in Greece, they actually called for a truce for all fighting to cease during the Olympics for that spirit of just the athletes, and they've put in so much for it. And it seems like the actual athletes, regardless of the country, they actually support each other. And, they might be sad they didn't win, but they can be happy for their friend from another country.
Yeah, I'm sure friendship, what's the Olympic villages is what they call it, where they all get together.
Where they all stay.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's hope that people who don't mean well will use this as an opportunity, especially with all that's going on in the world.
Yes.
Because that could be done. I remember one time when there were hostages taken during Olympics, etc. So let's hope that's all gone. Prayers for that not to happen, and then to make that to be a point of, oh no, from there on.
Yes. And let's, celebrate the athletes for the amazingly hard work that they've put in to get to this point.
That's all I want. Just make the Olympics what they're about, which is good, friendly competition between athletes to see who's the best in the world.
Yes, and just sit and say, wow, I could not do that.
Exactly. Especially the older I get.
Right, same.
All right. Thanks, Caroline, and I look forward to your next one, your follow-up.
Yes, come back next week.
Part 2, Miss Teaser. All right. Have a good weekend, Caroline.
Y'all too.
Hi. I'm E.J. Williams for American Humane. For thousands of years, dogs have been our best friends in our worst times. Today, we're also learning that our best friends, millions of whom are abandoned each year, are often the best medicine when people are facing obstacles. To help both people and animals, organizations like American Humane have been working to harness the healing power of the human-animal bond, finding animals in need of forever homes and training them as life-saving service and therapy dogs to help our veterans, the elderly, and children overcome the daily obstacles of life. In this way, the rescued can become the rescuers. To find out how you can help give animals and the people they help a new leash on life, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Time for this week's winner and loser in the markets. The loser is Five Below Inc., that's F-I-V-E, and they are headquartered in Pennsylvania. They're a specialty value retailer, of course, and it operates through the following segments: leisure, fashion, and home, and party and snack. Five opened the week at $104 and a penny, and then on Tuesday started its deep dive down to its 52-week low of $71.66. The CEO announced that he was stepping down after comp sales fell. 52-week high of $216.18, and it just hit its 52-week low of $71.66. And now for the winner. It's Hawaiian Electric Industries, which is HE. They are, of course, an electric utility business, and they operate in 3 segments: electric utility, bank, and other. The electric utility segment engages in production, purchase, transmission, distribution, and the sale of electricity to the islands in Hawaii. HE started the week at $10.54 and ran up to $19.20 on Thursday after it was reported a settlement may have been reached over the wildfire that happened on Maui last year. 52-week high of $40.16 and a 52-week low of $7.61. Visit arbitragetrade.com and learn about Pips, our AI bot who lets you stop watching and start living. We are not financial advisors. We provide an AI bot algorithm service. Thank you for joining us today for another edition of Arbitrage Weekend News. Log into arbitragetrade.com to read our wide variety of blogs and educate yourself on Trade Assist and Forex trading, or even how to make passive money with our Trade Assist affiliate marketer program. You can even get to know our cute little AI bot called Pips.
Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is a privately held research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the contents of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to function as investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics LLC, please visit arbitragetrade.com.